All right, so you don't need to do this, but I put oils on the forms, if I remember, because it prevents sticking. All this stuff will get stuccoed or tiled, so I don't really care how it looks. By the way, this is my screed board. That's what I'll use to make sure the concrete is level. I'll even hit the tops so it cleans up nicely and easier. I was just about to hit this because I'm actually going to pour concrete. The last little bit of concrete, I need to get it over this form. So when I mix it up here, I'm going to pour it on this. And I almost put oil over this, but I figure that would be very hard to walk up. So we'll hit this before we start doing concrete. I'm going to plug this thing in. We're going to get some oil on there. All right. So another thing you can do that's probably better than this is sprays for cooking. You can get Pam, you get whatever kind of oil. I think I've tried them all and they all work. So if you get the spray, I mean, it would be great for things like this, but I don't know, I just prefer my roller. I feel like it's easy enough. Sprays are also probably better for tools, getting all the nooks and crannies. I think this thing is fully hit. All right, I think it is mixing time.
Estava a viver, caminhando na vida.
All right, I've honestly never seen a mix like this. I hope this is just the first few bags. I don't know, this looks crazy. Hopefully it's normal. Anyway, before I get going, once I start here, I don't want to stop. I wanted to show you how I put the bags in. As far as right now, I'm doing 7 liters of water and I'm doing 3 bags. I think I'm gonna set that up to 4. So normally I have rebar, but I honestly don't have any scrap. I use it all. So I found this crowbar. Shout out to Gavin for showing me this. So I put it right in the middle where the rebar is. I take my margin trowel, stab a perfect line across, lift it up slowly. Now I know that they'll be able to support themselves on their own. Sometimes if you go up super fast and do it, they'll just flip over, but anyway, make sure they're sitting upright on their own. And then I start on either the right or left side. If you try to go up, once again, it'll flip over. So right or left side, and just tear it like that. Sitting on their own. And now those are super easy to just take and throw in there. So normally I'll throw all those in there. I'll be filling up my water. And while it mixes, I get the next batch ready. By the time this next batch is ready, that will be ready to pour. And also, like, I've seen people like just guess on the water and use use a hose. I'm sure it works, but that's why this thing sucks. Dude, it's because it did get wet. And so a lot of the Portland or cement is just hard as hell. That's not good. This might be interesting. What was I talking about? Yeah, just don't use a hose. Like, if you're using a hose, you're guessing, you're taking time. Fill up the perfect amount, throw it in there, like, keep on moving. Now we're good to go for the next batch. All right, I'm gonna start mixing this whole thing, and hopefully this concrete, which has gotten wet and it's already cured, doesn't screw me. That sucks. In case I didn't show you this earlier, this mix is insane. There's literally like no Portland in it. It's all just rocks. And I think it's because of all these chips. This should have been the cream, and it's all just cured. All right, hopefully this works out. See you guys in a bit. Peace. think this should be enough concrete. I hope I mixed too much because I'm about to get the ramp out. And then the leftovers will go in there, which I'll pour next. You could scrape it like this if it's super high just to get rid of stuff. So I don't think you just have to go back and forth, but once it's at a good height, I might give it a little scrape to get rid of the excess. If you have someone with you, they could be taking the excess concrete when it's way too much. You know, make sure your 2x4 is directly on top of your 2x4. Make sure there's not a screw or whatever, or your whole thing will be a little funky. Always put a lot of pressure down so you know it's making good contact with your 2x4s. I'm gonna work on this little guy. I'm gonna do all the concrete on this side, try to dig it all up, move it to this side, screed it to that board. So then when I pull this form and that form, it'll be long enough to where this concrete holds, that concrete holds, and then I screed it all the way out. All right. Do you guys remember what the mix looked like at first? This is what it should look like. And that's what it looks like without crappy concrete. The last one was just double. All right. This is the bull float. It's time to bull float. There is some concrete in there. I'll be quick. Always face it away from the sun, keep it in the shade. And with the bull float, I'll show you. So you don't need this, but if you have it, it is nice. So with this float, you always want to keep it as flat as you can. If the part of the float is not higher in the front in the direction that you're pulling, you'll dig into the concrete. The bull float's always used right after screeding. They basically will remove any ridges, fill voids, and help level. The one thing I forgot to mention is I did use a vapor barrier under the rebar. It indirectly helps cure concrete better. Basically by having the vapor barrier, it gives you a controlled environment instead of, you know, if it rains a lot or doesn't rain a lot, and you have a lot of, you know, moisture in the ground. Vapor barrier basically takes away that element. And also over time, the vapor barrier will once again prevent moisture coming up from the ground. I almost forgot to film this. I took out one screw. The goal is to get this removed, hopefully at the perfect time that it'll still stay true to its form. And so then there'll be good adhesion between the slab and the other slab. Well, that's a good sign that the concrete didn't push it out. We're gonna see. All right. So I don't want to go any further because if I pull it further, then that side will push in. So I see that it is cured enough to stand right. I'm gonna go ahead and rip this thing out. All right, let's see. Use the 2x4 it's screwed into as the lever. All right, this was poured more recently. So let's hope it works. Hey, look, I didn't put the canola oil on this. See how it's sticking? I don't like that, but we should pour the other stuff, so I'm gonna get going. All right, now I'm gonna mix up some concrete, work my way from the back, go this way. I'm gonna try to screed using this edge and that edge. And the reason I did this instead of one pad once again is because this will be an indoor shed. It's really gonna be a sauna. This will be outside so the door could swing out. Yeah, so this, when the rain falls over to here, it'll have proper drainage going down this way and then going that way, away from all the buildings. Mama. She's good lady. That needs to set up more. One thing that's very fun to do while you wait. This looks quite perfect to start hitting it with the magnesium float. So that is the texture. That's there after the bowl float. And you can see it's firmed up. So the reason why you use magnesium is it helps get the rocks down and brings the cream up. What I will do is lightly, you don't want to use pressure because you don't want to make it wavy, so very, very lightly, just go over the top. The flatter the better. So we're gonna hit it all once, let it dry again, and eventually once the stuff starts to actually harden up, we're gonna switch to steel at the end. Okay, see. I'm gonna go return the mixer, which is already in the car. So I should be back in about 25 minutes. Hopefully the line's not too long. We'll see how this goes. See you in a second. All right, I just got back from Home Depot. She's looking dry. Now it's ready to get some real love. Yeah, so just showing you guys. Pretty much just super hard. Like, I could walk on this. So now I'm really gonna hit it with a mag. Also, there's that center area that I missed. I'm gonna have my knee board and walk out. Get that. So you can see that it's barely doing anything. Just keep hitting it, and eventually it'll all be like this. It'll fill in all the holes. So went from being, you know, like not much is happening to a nice creamy surface. Putting the camera on time lapse. See you in a bit. We have an umbrella now, thanks to Sarah. It's getting hot. All right, last up, grabbing my knee board and steel. So this is the last step. This concrete will most likely be under a floor, so it doesn't matter how it looks. That will be exposed over there. I do want to say I want this to be grippy. I don't want it to be slippery because if it's raining, someone steps down, I don't want them to slip. I'm gonna give it some texture and leave it textured. I could also hit it with a broom finish, which you still wanna hit it with steel. When it still has some fuzz to it, you wanna hit it with a broom. So for me, I'm gonna hit it with steel. I'm gonna look at it. If I decide to, I might do broom, or hopefully I could just make little baby rainbows with this and call it a day. So I'm gonna see what it's looking like. Also, this one is much better for finishing. It's bigger. It has a lot more surface area that applies pressure. This one's way tinier, less surface area. Random time in the video to say this, but everything I've learned is from friends and people I'm around, so thanks to everyone who's always taught me. So I did hit it with steel, and then I did a broom finish where we'll be walking outside. When you're finished, you do not want this thing to start turning white. You should either, if it looks like the concrete's about to start turning white, which means it's getting extremely dry, hit it with water. And also, I'm gonna give this a little more time to cure. And afterwards, I'm getting my hose, I'm gonna soak it. And then I actually have a piece of plastic that I'm gonna cover it with
and try to just keep it damp. The longer it stays damp while it's curing, the better. The first step to having a Finnish sauna. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.